Let's stop pretending for a second. Are you actually marking up jobs the way you think you are? Or are you just throwing numbers on a bid and hoping for the best? Because too many contractors have a rule of thumb that's more thumb than rule. Some slap on 10%. Some add enough to feel safe. Some don't even remember how they got their number. That's where we track the markup accuracy ratio to know whether your price covers costs, overhead, and profit, or if you're bidding thin and building broke. So what is the markup accuracy ratio? Well, markup is calculated by taking your selling price minus your costs and dividing that number by your costs. So let me break that down. Your cost is your true cost to do the work, your labor, material subs, equipment, etc. The selling price, well, that's just what you charge the client. So if your job costs you $100,000 and you sell it for $125,000, that's $125,000 minus $100,000 divided by $100,000, or 0.25, or 25% markup. Sounds decent, but is it enough to cover your overhead and still make a profit? If you don't know, you're just guessing. Let me give you a job site analogy here. Markup is like a ladder. If it's too short, you can't reach profit. If it's too tall, you price yourself out of the job. If your markup is off by even a few percentage points, you're either leaving money on the table or not getting the job at all. Worse, you get the job and realize halfway through that your markup doesn't even cover the office coffee. So what's a healthy markup? Well, it depends on your cost structure, but general guidelines here, 25 to 35%, that's minimum for most general contractors. 35 to 50%, that's pretty healthy for the self-performing trades. If you're over 50%, that's common for specialty or risk-heavy scopes. But if you're under 20%, you're underbidding or absorbing costs you don't understand. And remember, markup is not the same as margin. If your markup is 25%, your margin is only 20%. Markup builds price. Margin protects profit. Know the difference and price it accordingly. So let me give you a real contractor example. Had a contractor bidding mid-sized remodels at 15% markup. He thought he was safe. We'll make it up on volume, he said. Sure, but overhead was 12%. His errors, well, that was about 3%. Miscellaneous surprises was 1 to 2%. So by the end of the year, 0.5% net profit. For every $100,000 of work, he kept $500. That's not profit. That's a tip. So we retooled. We calculated the exact overhead per job. We set some target markup based on margin needs. We bid at 32 to 35% markup consistently. A year later, he was doing the same volume, but his net margin was at 10%, and his sanity was restored. So how do you improve your own markup accuracy? First, number one, I would say know your overhead. If you don't know what your business costs to run, you can't price to cover it. Number two, set a minimum markup by job type. Framing versus interiors versus punch work, they all carry different risk and effort. Number three, review markup versus actuals monthly. Are your jobs sticking to plan, or is your markup vanishing to cost creep? Number four, don't let the client's budget dictate your markup. Your cost is your cost. Cutting markup to win the job means you're paying to work. Number five, educate your estimators. If they think 10% markup equals 10% profit, you got a bigger problem. So here's the final word. Markup isn't a guess. It's a survival number. It's not just a line item. It's what pays your people, covers your overhead, builds in your buffer, and keeps your business in business. So ask yourself, am I charging enough to make it stick or just enough to stay busy? Because in construction, you don't get paid for effort. You get paid for what's left after the job's done. And that starts with an accurate markup.